Hi everyone, Natalie here, Only One United, back again. I think I got a lot of. We've enjoyed the World Cup, and I've since the World Cup has ended, I've got a lot of messages about transfers and who we get in, and obviously Jace has come through. Jace has come through. It's one that I told you about, one that we broke on here with Catherine from the Daily Mail. But tonight I'm on with Kudzi, Athletic and SB Nation. Show her some love. Follow her handle. It's scrolling down the bottom. But yeah, listen. Hi everyone for joining. Drop a like on it. Talk to us. How did you find the World Cup then? It's just gone, isn't it? But we're just getting back into, I suppose, club football again. How did you think that the World Cup went, and I suppose how it's ended and all that kind of stuff?
I don't even know what to say because it still feels like it happened yesterday. It's been like a whirlwind right from the minute I got there to coming back. I only got back to Toronto on when did I come back? Monday. Yeah. So pretty much from the time I left, which was just before the tournament started, up until then, it's just been one thing after the other. So it's been really busy. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, especially when you consider how the tournament progressed and, which teams got knocked out when and all the I think by the time we got to the round of 16, we as media kind of stopped making predictions because we were like, okay, every time we make a prediction, it turns out to be wrong. So at least me personally, I just stopped making predictions.
No, it was a mega World Cup, and I mean, obviously now it's making headlines for the wrong reasons, and I think I've had you on before, and we've talked about players and players' safety and always supporting the players. And I think, with the Spain, they had the last 15. And obviously it's sort of, I don't want to say it's shown, but this is why they were protesting. This is why we should always get behind players and support them. And if anything, media and fans should be their voice if we know something's wrong and they can't say it. But we've seen how bad it can be in women's football. But in a way, I'm glad that it's shown now because people are realising it's in the public. It's mainstream women's football now. It's getting there a bit more. So people are seeing this kind of thing, and people like this won't last long. That's what I think anyway.
No, I agree. I mean, when you think about how it all transpired, they could have easily just gone about their business. And we're talking about Jorge Vilda and Luis Rubiales. They could have easily just kind of whitewashed everything that happened, right? But just being like, hey, look, we won. You see, you guys wanted him gone, but look, we won, kind of thing. And then he just he's so brazen with everything that he does that it didn't even enter his head that the stuff that he was doing, and this is not just about, everyone's talking about the kiss and stuff like that with Jenny Amorso, but there was more than that. Like even the way he was acting, and I personally don't know much about royalty and stuff like that. I didn't grow up in a country where you have royalty, but to act like that in front of, I guess, basically a princess, that's what she is, right? One of the princesses of Spain, to act like that right next to her is, to me, insanity, because you're like, you've got to be a little bit more aware of what's going on around you. But because he's gotten away with so much for so long, it was, I guess, it just never entered his head to be a bit more careful about his behavior, about the things he says around people, especially and particularly around like women around him, right? So it's just kind of mad to me to see, like, okay, so if he was so brazen to do that, what else has he done in the past? And then when you talk to Spanish media and different people who followed him for a long time, they'll tell you that there's always been things about him that were rumored, never confirmed or never substantiated, or if they were always covered up. And now we get to see, upfront the kind of guy he is. And it's kind of mad. Like I said, the behavior that he was in front of the queen, in front of the princess, that's how he acted. Then you've got how he was acting around the team, even when we were like doing mixed zones and stuff like that. I remember after the game against Sweden, he just came through and he was acting similarly to how he was acting, after the final.
Yeah.
And us English media, like international media, were all kind of looking around like, is this normal? Is this, like, we didn't know, right? We had no idea. We're like, maybe it's a normal thing. Like, who are we to say it's not normal? We don't know anything about how Spain operates. So we kind of just kept quiet, but we thought it was weird. And then to find out later on that actually, no, the players were never comfortable with it. it's
Says it.
an odd way to kind of finish off the World Cup.
Yeah, Vicky's saying it's highlighted the best and the worst. You know, a lot of federations need to get their act together. You know, and hopefully that'll happen now. Like I said, I feel like women's football is mainstream and everyone's talking about it. And, you know, it's either step up or step off now. And I think that we're seeing a lot of that. I just want to shout out two people because we are going to get into it. I just want to shout out Tyler Trent. You know, I appreciate you, brother. Hope you're all right. We're going to get onto the news, the Kerolin story. It will come. Don't worry, guys. And then David, who's been trying to get your hands onto Mary, and I'm going to come on to that in a bit, David. Don't worry. But I just want to start. Hey, Jay-Z, Kerolin, Emma Watson. Listen, I don't know about Kate Robinson, but Jace, we've got her. It's like I said, I don't know what you think of Jace. Don't know what you think of sort of, I suppose, that as a signing for Man United. A lot of people doubted it at the start because it was mentioned just before the World Cup that Man United were interested in her, heavily interested in her. And then since she signed, it's actually come out that she was pushing before the World Cup. I think United made bids around 200k or something, but after the World Cup, it's got done 300 with add-ons. For me, a lot of people are saying, oh, this and that. But for me, that's good business. And I think it's 300 euros, so it works out £250, £250,000. Yeah, not just £250 would be good. But yeah, you know, but this for me, as a Man United fan who's watched it from the start, getting free transfers, doing this, it's positive that this is our biggest ever fee that we've paid in 5 years. This is now our 6th year. And we're paying this kind of money. And we're going to come on to Carolyn because I'm hearing that there's double that we're offering there. So for me, I'm happy. I don't know how it looks from the outside. Her coming to join Man United. She was at Barca. She, you know, this and that. Sarah saying Russo leaving, best thing because we've got Jace. And you know what? Even though she maybe didn't score the goals that they scored similar goals last year. She didn't get the goals for Barca. I'm still happy because for me, she's shown that she can score goals. Her game, I think even Mark said it, her game in the Flamisia, the final. Oh, she ripped England apart. I know they ended up losing, but she was the best player, her and Carolyn. But I think Jace just looked like a step above because she had been playing in Europe and stuff. What do you think, I suppose, of the Jace? And guys, get your comments in. Do you think it's upgrade? Do you think no? Do you think they're on similar levels, Russo and her? Or, you know, just from an outsider, tell us your perspective on Jace and the Russo, etc.
First and foremost, what's the age difference?
I think Jace is 25, and I think Russo's 23, so 2 years,
something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would, first and foremost, I would say I'm not surprised she was pushing for a move. She wasn't getting a lot of playing time at Barca, and obviously if everyone's seen now why she wasn't getting a lot of playing time because of Salma. Salma is she's 19, right? And she basically kind of took over for Jason and was now who Barca preferred to kind of bring along instead of Jace. So I understand why she was pushing. She wasn't getting a lot of minutes. She wasn't scoring as many goals as I guess Barca would like or whatever. So yeah, first and foremost, I get that. Oh, there we go, 25 and 25. Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, so that didn't surprise me that she was pushing for a move. And then secondly, I think with Jace, it's more of United were buying into her potential, right? Because they had similar numbers. Her and Russo had similar numbers last season. So you're looking for someone who you can say, okay, did they give us similar numbers because she wasn't getting enough time? Or is that her ceiling? Or, you know, I think United have decided that that wasn't her ceiling. She can do a whole lot more. We just have to make sure that we kind of give her the right pipeline, the right supply so that she can build on what she had in Barcelona. I think if you see her play, you can see that there's definitely a player there. And would she be good for United? Yeah, I think so. I think if you can kind of unlock her, yeah, she would definitely be a great signing for United. Obviously, if you add Carolyn as well, even better. But as of right now, yeah, I think she's a good signing for you guys.
Yes, definitely. I mean, Joseph is saying similar, but definitely will score more goals. Jace prefers to play through the middle, so it'd be good for it. And I am excited to see what she does because Well, it is a big signing, Wendy. It is definitely a big signing because she's left Barca to come to United. United are just, I suppose, starting on our Champions League journey. She's sort of completed that at Barca. And for me, yeah, I think, I mean, you mentioned Kerolin there. I think from the start, it was both Kerolin and Jace. That was the ambition. That was the plan. That's what we've wanted. That's what we've talked about on this show from the start, from before the World Cup. We was talking about it. We had Richard and Catherine on, and they both said both. And I think there was sort of a plan maybe to bring them both together because they would both. Kerolin can speak English, but they both would have come from the World Cup. They would be together. I don't know how well. I don't know how good. I mean, Trent. I mean, Tyler. If you're in, I'm sure you've spoken to Kerolin. You know, he's a courage reporter, so I'm sure he's spoken to Kerolin. I'm sure she speaks or she understands English probably better than Jace does. But yeah, United willing to spend is encouraging. Of course it is. And I think with Jace, you know, like I said, I think we'll be putting it all through her. She'll be that main striker. And when she played at Madrid CFF, she was that main striker. That's what everyone was working towards, her scoring. And I feel like that is what will happen. And hopefully, like you said, that will unlock. Listen, Wendy's saying we want both. And listen, let's just go straight into it, you know. I know Amy's saying here, Russo drops deep, not clinical enough. And yeah, there was times in the World Cup. She looks a bit better, though. She looked a bit better towards the end.
Not in the final, though. In the final, no.
Yeah, well, exactly, because they marked her out of it. And
no, she just, surprisingly for me, and I know we're deviating, but surprisingly for me, she couldn't outpace them. I was surprised by that. She couldn't outpace the two center backs for Spain, Codina and Paredes. And I was really surprised by that because I was like, I'm pretty sure she's faster than both, but, you know, maybe I was wrong. Maybe
when I watch her, that when we do have a ball and we play it up to her, she can't run. I don't know. There's just something. I don't know if it's her, but it's because she's too deep. I don't know. But then suddenly in the box, she can turn and place. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. You know, I think a lot of people are saying, why did she leave this and that? It is what it is. She's left now. I'm not. I mean, we've had loads of shows earlier on. Look back. Hey, she speaks decent English. Yeah. So I think, you know, we have Ivana Fuso, who is also Brazilian, and I think she's making Jace feel at home. But, you know, 3 Brazilians, that's what we like. We like a little, you know, Brazil FC. That's, you know, we've got 3 Norwegians, Norway FC. That's what they call themselves. And so it'd just be nice. But listen, let's get onto it, man.
Yeah.
Carolyn, you know, more comfortable in Portuguese, of course she is. And she's more, listen, we've got Spanish, so there'll be 4 players because we've got Lucia Garcia. So the space is there for her, Tyler. The space is there. We're waiting. Yeah, the people are ready. Attack Jace, Kerolin. We're ready. That is what we want to see. And I think that's what Mark has envisioned in his head. That would be, for me, that's one of the best attacks in the WSL. Yeah. If we had those 3. Like I said, United are offering big money, big money. I think a lot of people in England are saying it, big money. Some were even going before and saying, oh, it's Kerolin that's done, not Jace. No, it was, you know, I think Jace was the easier one. But I mean, we were saying it before, weren't we? What is going on, like, because if United are bidding so much money, for me, I don't know. It seems like she wants to move as well.
Yeah. I would say, and I think Tyler would concur with me on this, it's the timing of it all. Just we were discussing this a little bit before, but if you look at the NWL season and where the Courage are right now in terms of how close they are to making the playoffs, and obviously they want to make a playoff run as well, the timing is what's working against you guys. If this had been maybe, I don't know, May, right, when the transfer window opened, you probably had a better chance then. Not because, like, the Courage were ready to let her go. Not necessarily, but because they had just lost to Bini as well. But because of now where the season is in the NWSL, and I think I have to double check this, but I think there's like 6 games left for every team. That's 6 games outside of being in the playoffs. And then obviously the playoffs is like 3 games, depending how far you go. It's just wrong timing. And that's why even with the bid that you guys are putting in, they're refusing. They're just like, no. It's just not the right time. If this was January, probably you could get her then. and maybe you wouldn't have to offer as much as you're offering now in January. But unfortunately, this is like late August, and it's the worst possible time to try and take a star player from an NWSL team.
Yeah. I mean, Lot has done a really good question. And Tyler, if you're in here, maybe you know as well, but if they don't want to sell, why do you think they're still negotiating? I mean, someone else said that the agent went out there. I don't think Kerolin will push because, like, I don't think she'll like rock the boat, etc., or wish bad. But I do think she does really want to come. I think everything's sort of good. I think there is ambition there. She wants to play Champions League. I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with the NWSL. I mean, you tell us from our point, is it because I heard someone before saying, it's not good that our top players are wanting to go to WSL, but it seems like maybe it's sort of that, whereas it used to be the other way around, didn't it? And now,
I don't know. I think it's, to be honest, it's a toss-up because the way the league tends to work is very transitional, and that's great for like building athleticism and stuff like that within the players and physicality and all that. But there's not enough teams that emphasize on technicality, and I think that's the difference between the US and Europe, I guess, the WSL and Europe, I guess. But yeah, so you will have some teams where they do value technicality, they do value kind of putting together sequences and stuff like that. But a lot of the teams tend to play at like one speed. So it's like, if you're not prepared for that, then, you won't succeed in the league. But yeah, I think that could be, I wouldn't say that all the players are suddenly wanting to go to Europe or the WSL. I mean, if you see someone like Sophia Smith leaving, then that'll be a problem. But if it's, unfortunately, Carolyn is just not a bigger star in the US as Sophia Smith, for example. So if Sophia Smith was the one leaving or potentially wanting to move to United, then yeah, I'd agree with that stance and say, okay, there's a problem. But right now, Carolyn leaving is not that big of a deal.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Fair enough. I mean, Vicky saying UWCL is becoming a big pull now. And I do think that. I think that we're seeing it now with the players that are happy to join Man United, and maybe they wouldn't have, last year when we weren't in it. Well, I mean, I know you were saying that you can't see it right now. You can see it maybe in January. I mean, can you see it still being United? Can you see United waiting around still for us? They've got all sort of this way to the point where she wants to join, we want her to join, this kind of stuff, everything's good? Or do you think they'll move on? And
I mean, it'll be up to them, because I think if she's still open to a move to Europe, not necessarily United, but a move to Europe, then other teams are definitely going to come in for her in January. So it'll depend on how much United are willing to, I guess, negotiate or convince her to come to United. Because if she's open, unfortunately, someone like Chelsea will definitely try her, because Chelsea just like to buy players. Or you'll have someone like Lyon who will come in for her, although they might not because of how stacked they are at the moment up front, but they might as well. You never know. So yeah, if they have that option where other teams in Europe know she's available in January and United aren't willing to match whatever the Courage want, then I could see her moving in January, but not necessarily to United.
Yeah, but I could see her moving if United definitely do come back. The one player that has been linked, probably people haven't seen it's gone under the radar. I just want to shout out my girl Mina, because she posted it first, and I don't know if this is someone they'd want to move on to. Spurs United, and you said her name, I can't say it, but Timbia Kaweche played. I don't know. Sorry, I'm really bad at saying it.
Yeah. Okay. So it's Tembi Katlana.
Katlana.
Yeah.
And she played for South Africa. So anyone who watched South Africa, she was the girl who did that celebration with her leg up. So yeah. She scored a few goals. She looked good in the World Cup. She plays for Racing Louisville. Yeah. And for me, I mean, what do you think? Do you think that would be a good option for United? Could you see her moving, or do you think they're going to have the same problem? Or do you think, no, Louisville will more likely take the money? What do you think?
I think again, timing is everything. And again, unfortunately for United, they're coming in at the wrong time. Racing aren't in the playoff spots right now, but they're basically, I think they're 4 points off the playoff spots. And to lose someone like Tembi at that point in the season, again, I can't see it happening. United would have to offer like a lot of money for that to happen. Because I think with Racing, they were literally waiting for their international players to come back so they can make a push for the playoffs. And because they're so close, and again, the time of the season it is in the NWSL, I can see her moving in January if you still want her in January, but not right now.
Yeah, I mean, Kirsty's saying something there. Would anyone take a swap? And I think we even said this, didn't we? You know, Adriana Leon, there's talk that she wants to leave United. She's back in training. Would anyone, I'm not saying less money, but, you know, would that maybe for the Courage or maybe for the, what was saying, Racing? Would they, do you think any, you know, NWSL team would look at Leon if they could get her and maybe, you know, as a replacement? Or do you think no, not at all?
Not for those two players, no.
No.
Because just their profiles are completely different. What they do is completely different from Leon. And like, to be completely honest, they're both like much younger than her. And they offer a whole lot more in terms of what they currently produce for their teams and the potential for the future that they have. So I wouldn't see either of those teams taking money in Leon. I wouldn't see it.
It is interesting though for me. My friend, easier for Courage to lose Carolyn than lose. What do you think of that?
No, that's true. That's true. I think, I don't know if easy is the right term, but I think the Courage have not the same level, but they have players that could fill in for Carolyn, but it's just not the same level. If they want to win the NWSL championship, they need to keep Carolyn. That's just honestly the truth. Whereas Racing Louisville, they don't have a player in the profile of Tembi Kasana to fill in for her. So if she goes, they're going to have to be scrambling to find someone. And I don't think they'll find someone in time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is what United seem to be doing now, scrambling to find someone. It's not that they've not got the money. It's not like they don't, I suppose, have the attraction, Champions League, all that kind of stuff, playing in Europe, you know, going for it, new building, all this kind of thing that they're doing. But it seems like with the men's team as well, even it's just slow. And it's something that we picked up on. Even when Russo left, the money was there. It's just slow, and it's, you know, it's really, I can't look at anywhere but the owners, because they're the ones who, you know, whether they employ this, whether they set the structure, you know, Polly, Bancroft, negotiating, doing this, but then when it comes to paying the money, they're not there. And I think even getting Jace through the door, it's long, it's slow, it's taken this long for her just to come in. So it's a bit, I don't know, frustrating for United fans, because we know we've got the money there and we know that we have the potential, but they're just not. It's powers above that, I suppose, holding us back. What do you think, I suppose, to United fans, I suppose, hearing that they have this money, hearing that they're ready to spend this and do that, and play these kind of players want to join, but it is just like you say, if it would have been earlier. I mean, what would you say to fans, I suppose, fan looking on the outside?
I mean, I'm going through something similar with my own team, so like they're driving me crazy. Because there's obvious needs, especially with the men's team. There's obvious needs, and they're just not getting it done. Like I said, it is really driving me crazy. But transfer window isn't closed yet, so we'll see what they do. But in terms of United, I don't know what is going on with your transfer structure, because I don't know the ins and outs of it like as well as you do. But yeah, the fact that they're waiting so long, they must have known for some time that Russo wasn't going to sign a new contract. They must have known. And for the fact that they knew all of this and they waited until August to try and push through transfers is mad to me. You had plenty of time to figure out your targets, figure out like an order of who can we get, prioritize, and all that kind of stuff. And yet here we are with you scrambling to get two players who very likely won't come at this point. They'll come in January, but not right now.
I think they literally thought that, you know, Kerolin would come. That's what I think they thought. I think they thought, oh, we'll bid this much and she'll come. And, you know, I know people are saying it's not over until it's over. So let's see. But Namrata has asked the question, what is Emily Salmon's situation? That's a player that I'd be so happy, like, personally, I'd be so happy for her to come back.
To be honest, I think of the three that we've just discussed in the NWSL, you could get her. More likely to get her than the other two. Yeah. Because she's not playing as much with Houston. Even though they're not that far away from the playoff spot, she's not getting a whole lot of game time. She seems to be like more of a substitute than anything else. And I'm just thinking of their team. Yeah, if there's anyone you could get from the three, it's probably her. Is she the same profile as the other two? No, not exactly. But if you're looking for someone to kind of supplement or work with Jace, she wouldn't be a bad option.
Yeah, I'd be like, because she's United, she started with us. Obviously, she went away. For her to come back, I think she would. I don't know if she'd come back now, but then I suppose if they accepted the bid, maybe she probably would. Yeah, so I think we could even still. I mean, what would you think if they got her and then went for Kerolin as well? Do you think that could work? They could all work out, if used right, or do you think now they would?
It's gotta be. They won't be able to get all three. Like they
Yeah.
can't get two of the three or all three. They'll only get one. And I think the easiest to get would be Ebony Salmon.
I know. I want both. I want Ebony and then Carolyn in January.
You could try. I mean, like I said, you could try and go for her. Sorry, in January. But if she's open to a move and not necessarily United in January, that means a bunch of other teams are going to be in for her.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be dependent on whether United are willing to match whatever the other teams offer to still bring her in.
Yeah. Oh, here Anton is saying it'll be interesting to see how many NWSL players want to come to Europe after this World Cup. So many more Europe. I mean, what did you think of America? I suppose in the World Cup, and there's a discourse, isn't there, around that?
I mean, if you would ask anyone who's been paying attention to this team since the Olympics, they would have told you this was coming. It wasn't a big surprise for us. We were like, by the time they got to play Sweden in the round of 16, we're like, okay, they could probably win that because those games are always tight and it's always like marginal whoever wins those games. But we were like, they're not going to make it past the quarterfinal. We pretty much knew it was either round of 16 or quarterfinal. They weren't going far.
I mean, do you think that is because, like you just said before, there's not enough technicality? I mean, what game did I watch? The Holland game. Holland maybe weren't as, had the physical attributes of the United States, but the way they moved the ball, even Spain, the way they moved the ball and speed it up, slow it down. And like you said, America maybe don't have to, not that the players can't do that, but it's like they didn't play like that. And do you think it's just the manager coming in will change it? Or do you think players should come to Europe more and stuff and play that?
No, I think it comes down to managers because if you look at some of the managers who do try to play a more technical game in the NWSL, they're there and they use players from the US, right? So it's not like the players can't do it, but unfortunately for them, they happen to have a manager who just could not figure out how to put them in position to succeed. And he's been doing that since the Olympics. So when you have players that are capable, if you look at, for example, I'll just look at the midfield of the US very quickly, right? So if you look at Lindsay Horan, she plays for Lyon. So it's not like she doesn't know what she's doing. She does know what she's doing. You've got someone like Roosevelt, who is probably the most technical of all the midfielders that the US have. She's if there was anyone who's like a type of European player, it's Roosevelt. Then you've got someone like Ashley Sanchez, who didn't see any minutes at all at the World Cup, which is mad. Then you've got Savannah DeMello, who did see some minutes, but she was basically just like thrust in from the word go. She'd never really played significant minutes with the national team. Then you've got someone like, unfortunately, Sam Ewis, who was injured. If she had been around, I think she would have been a better bet for the midfield than the other options that they had. So if you have players like that, and then obviously you have Andy Sullivan, who played as a 6, or Julie Ertz, who could have moved up to play as a 6. When you have players like that, if you put them in the position to succeed, they will. But unfortunately for them, they were never put in a position to succeed. And another example would be having Sophia Smith play out wide. She's not a wide player. She's a 9. So he either had to drop Alex Morgan or drop Sophia Smith. One of the two. You can't fit them both in.
Who do you think? You think Serena's going to come?
I don't think so. Yeah. It'll take a lot of convincing to get her to come to the US.
Yeah.
I don't see her coming. I know that there was talk that they reached out to Luis Cortez, so the former Barcelona head coach. I know they've reached out to him. I don't know how far those talks are going. I mean, I've never seen him do national team before. I think just the way he plays would be a smart one, but I don't know. I don't know who they're going to bring in. I have no idea. Yeah.
Lot still thinks Carolyn's going to come this window. I don't know. I do think the agent's hinting there's big things. It's hard. I don't know.
They're going to have to. United are going to have to offer. I know you were saying that before we were discussing the figures and stuff and saying that's a pretty big offer. It's going to have to be more than that. because you're literally asking. It's like someone coming in, let's say April, right? Someone coming into like in April for a United like star, and basically saying, we want your player now in April. I think United would have been like, are you crazy? Well,
look at Arsenal. They bid $500,000, so maybe that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, it's gonna take something like that.
Have to be a world record, over a world record.
Yeah.
So we know that the world record is what, 450 or something like that for clear world. Offer 550. Make it clear it's a world record, and then maybe that it might.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be something like that, because I don't see them letting her go unless it's something crazy, something substantial.
Right. Well, United are in a position now where they're going to have to just do that, because they need forwards in. I mean, Sand Devil said, why not go for Miyawacha? So I think this is the one who's
Miyazawa. Yeah,
Miyazawa, top goal scorer in the World Cup, or
Tanaka. Yeah,
Tanaka. Is she? I don't know which one. Remind me, Tanaka.
Miyazawa. They're both strikers, but the one I think that Sandoval's thinking of is Miyazawa, because she was the one who scored the most goals.
Yeah,
and, I mean, she wouldn't be a bad bet either. It just depends.
Are they both Japan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Go on.
I don't know if United are looking that direction, to be honest, but they wouldn't be bad bets either.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I would like it. I mean, I think we're seeing now with United, they seem to be looking in a direction that we've never really looked before. We've never gone like Jace. Well, I know Ivana Fuso is Brazilian, but she's sort of brought up through Europe, was playing in Europe. We've never got someone like Kerolin now. We never got someone really from the NWSL. If we go for like a Japan player, we've never really gone that direction. But it is a direction, signing African players. That's a direction that I do think is good, because I think there's more to the market now than I think that we're finding out. There's more to it than just, you've seen Chelsea signing a official from Tigres.
Yeah,
I hope I said that right.
Yeah,
yeah, but there's more to women's football than just Europe. Even though we're a European team, we should be bringing people in from all over the world. It's global scouting, and I think some of the names that we're bringing up shows that they are doing that. Yes, it is NWSL League, Barcelona, but for me, like South African player, that's someone that is that. But Vicky's saying here, Japanese players are technically good. Always when they come into WSL, they always look great. For me, could you see United maybe, like what Sandela said, signing players like that? I'm sure they'd probably be more attainable than, say, I know we all like Carolyn. We've got the song "Sweet Carolyn," everyone's seeing it, everyone's singing it, everyone's waiting for it. But yeah, if they're not gonna then bid $500,000, maybe, then going for a Japan player would be good.
I mean, could I see it happen? Yeah, like that wouldn't be a bad option, if they look around and they say, okay, we're not going to get Carolyn, so what are our options? Going to Japan wouldn't be a terrible option, and I think it should probably cost less than Carolyn. So that's another option there. Definitely is to try and get one of the Japanese forwards. It's not like they wouldn't be able to play. If you look at the NWSL, they picked up June Endo, and it took her a bit of time to kind of adapt to the league. But now you're starting to see the player she is and what kind of player she can be for any team, really. So why not go for someone like Miyazawa?
Yeah. Ando is Brian saying my dreams, Geyse, listen, it is one of them ones. Sue, what's going on with Pinto? Wendy, yes, are we going for Pinto? So it's Tatiana Pinto. I know I didn't talk to you about this one because I think we're focused on the striker ones, but that's for the midfield. That is it's a confusing one, this one, because she's a free agent, she's training individually. United are linked heavily, but she's a free agent. And you've seen with Barca and Brutz, they just they wanted her, they went for her, and they've got her, And even Brutz apparently had a deal with Frankfurt before, but Barca's the dream club, this and that, so she went. And then, they probably offered more, all this. So United, if they want not saying they don't want Pinto, of course. That, you know, I think there's one other WSL club that I've heard that might be interested in her, but there's not. She was liking Jace's pictures, so there's all this thing where I do think they do want her. She's a free agent. She's ready to go, and it's just. It's a bit like if they really wanted her, she'd be here. That's how I feel sort of about that one. I'm not saying that we're not going to get her or we don't want her, but it's just I'm hearing Pinto's going to come next, and I'm thinking, well, she's not got a club. We can just cite like what's going on. I mean, do you ever get that with transfers? You're always hearing a name, and it's delayed. And I don't know if it's United side or if we're looking at other players. I mean,
at least with like the Liverpool women's side, I think they've managed to get most of their transfers in without much fuss, which was surprising considering how they're dealing with the men's side. But you hear that with transfers a lot, and it's I think especially if it's a free agent and the club is taking this long to sign them, I think they're not a priority. Maybe the club feels like we'll sign them as a last resort if we can't get another player that they want, or if they feel like, as you know, I don't know United's midfield situation, but maybe they feel like what they have right now is enough.
Yeah, what I will say about our midfield situation, Vilde-Borisa is staying, as far as I'm aware. And I'm not saying that Pinto is bad, but for me, she's better than Vilde's better than her, and I don't know. I do agree with what you're saying. I mean, I know someone said United structure is very, very bad. I do agree with that, but I don't think it's so bad that they couldn't have finished this kind of deal. I don't know. Atanu's saying it. Cooney Cross is the one they should have gone for. Look like she's going Chelsea. And I don't know. It does look like she's going Chelsea. But then suddenly, out of the blue, I saw something in Australia that said Everton. And I thought, Jesus, she goes Everton. So I do think there are. I mean, I've heard Arsenal interested. We're interested. And I think that's a player. Well, of course, she's class. Everyone saw her in a World Cup. That, you know, is it a case of a United looking to? She has higher target than Pinto? I don't know. I mean, yeah, technically, you know, she's young. She's new. She's up and coming. She'd be like a long-term replacement in the mid. You know, she would run that midfield in anyone. You know, like I said, there is this talk of Chelsea, but then Everton came up. I mean, I'm not saying, oh, you're going to know definitely where she's going, but you know, what do you think for a player like that? I do think she is going to come WSL, but you know that I suppose Chelsea it does look like, but then can you see her maybe going somewhere else? I don't know.
Depends on it depends on what Chelsea are telling her in terms of game time, right? If Everton is offering her more game time, I think she might go to Everton, because Chelsea are pretty, like, I don't get what Chelsea are doing. They're collecting players like Pokemon on both sides, right? The men and the women. But it will depend. I think for her, she definitely, and I think it's just Australia as a whole, the way that the national team manager, Tony Gustafsson, the way he's talking to the players is for them to go to places where they'll get game time. So because he wants them to develop, and most of that team is very, very young, so they need like game time to develop and stuff like that. So if Chelsea are offering more game time, then Everton should go to Chelsea. If Everton are offering more game time, should go to Everton, I think. I don't think it's as simple as who's offering more money. I think it's more to do with game time.
And I agree with Vicky on this. She would walk straight into our midfield. I mean, I think it would be her, Lisa Nelson. I don't know. Like, obviously, there would always be competition, but yeah, she would walk in pretty much.
Yeah. So you should be going in. You should go in for her then.
Well, you never know. You never know with Man United. You never know. They could be in. They could not be. Like I said, Everton just popped up out of nowhere. So if Everton are in, everyone's in. You know, and like you say, isn't it for it to be Chelsea, and then suddenly it be Everton. And like you say, you know, I mean, people might, this is the one, people might not like this comment, but it is kind of like, yeah, she needs to go where she's going to play. And they do have a lot of players in that position. They've just signed another young German player. So, like you say, I don't know what their plan is. That's their plan. But, you know, I do think she would walk into Man United's midfield, definitely. And I just think, I mean, look, Northland, VBR, Cooney Cross, United have Vilde-Borisa, Ella Toon, Katie Zellum, Haley Ladd, Paris, you know, if you include those out wide. It is, United are quite stacked as well, though. I do think that, you know, in midfield, it's maybe, like you say, it's not a priority. I do think a fullback is a priority though.
Yeah.
Because you've seen our girl, she is our girl. On her back chair, I think she'll always be our girl. I think even Pappy was pictured on the field wearing the medal with a United shirt, so she'll always be United on her. It is a shame, really. That is the one. I mean, I know someone set it up before. I'm not going to go look for the comment, but I think a lot of English media is like Russo. But if you actually sit down and watch Man United, and even watch the World Cup and be, people who are serious. I know even the diehard England fans are serious. Spain on a Bache, boom. She's the best in the world as fullback. No one can really deny it anymore.
I think if you were looking at the player that will probably hurt United the most in losing, it won't be Russo, it'll probably be Ona Batia.
Yeah.
I think, just speaking as someone who actually catches a lot of the Spanish league when I can, the fact that for Vilda, for all his faults, he understood that having both Batia and Carmona was the way forward for that team. It was the smartest thing he's ever done for that team. And yeah, it showed, right? Like, both of them are both they can go up front and put in the crosses if they need to. I don't know if Ona is like a goal scoring fullback. I'm not really sure, but Carmona definitely is for Real Madrid. And like, it just shows you when you have a player like that who can go forward and like score goals or create an assist and also stay back and defend really, really well. Because again, if you look at how they both handled Carmona and Batia, how they handled everything England threw at them, a lot of the times you would think, oh, maybe physically they can't cope because, England might be physically bigger or whatever, but they both coped very, very well with whatever England threw at them. So
can I just say as well, like, I mean, I was on the radio actually, and we was talking about Spain and thing, and I was sitting next to a City fan and we were talking, and I said, Ona always handles Hemp, always. And I said, other than a few games at the start, I can't remember when Hemp had Ona.
Yeah.
And I think you just saw what I was saying. Like, for me, it's irreplaceable. It's irreplaceable. I know you're Canadian, you're talking about Toronto. It's big boots, your girl, Jade Riviere, big boots, because Ona, man, that's a big hole there, and that's what I think they're gonna do. They're gonna build it around, Jade.
Yeah,
she's having to.
I mean,
I do think she can.
If it helps, I remember when we were watching, when we were up in the press box during the final, I was talking to some of the English media that were next to me. I was just like, England are going about this wrong. They keep trying to come down on the left, which is the side that Ona was on. And I was like, that's not the fullback they need to be watching. They need to be watching the other fullback, because if they keep giving her space, they're going to get punished. And I was like, I understand that they know Ona better because they've seen her play in the WSL. So they feel like, okay, she's who we have to stick to. But I was like, ooh, that's a big mistake. That's a really big mistake, because you're giving all that space on the other side, and that other fullback will punish you.
Yeah.
I mean, just to show that they respect what she can do, but I'm also just like, I think you respected a little bit too much. And that's where the goal came from, right? So
yeah. Lucy Bronze, listen, don't even listen. When people say her name next to Ona, I'm like, why are you disrespecting Ona for? Like, that's how I don't even care if you're spotlighting us. I don't care. There's difference. But listen, people are saying it. We cannot ever replace Ona. I'm not. It's hard, because this is what we need, a third fullback. I don't want Jade to have too much pressure. But what do you think? Do you think Jade? I mean, now this is about Canada, yeah? So do you think she can come in and replace Ona? Obviously, she's not going to come in and be the best in the world now, but she has that potential to eventually get there. And, should we just be putting it not all on Jade, because, like you say, too much pressure? Or do you think, no, she's going to thrive off it? Like, what's your view on Jade? I know I've had you on to talk about it, but
yeah, I think it'll depend on how your coaches do with her, right? I think if they are concentrating on, like making sure that she develops well, then I'm so sorry. Like, someone keeps calling me.
No, it's all right. Put it on mute. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You call, but now if you need to go off, Jade is defensively good. She can improve offensively.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's all right.
But yeah, so I probably do have to jump off soon. But yeah, if they develop her well, then I think they'll be able to do she might not be on the same level as Ona, but I think she'd do pretty well with them. It's all dependent on how they develop her, really, because she hasn't had as much development as you would like. If you're a Canadian fan, she hasn't had as much development. But if you can kind of work with her, then you have her on one side, Lawrence on the other side for Canada. That would be awesome. But yeah, it's all dependent on how your coaches want to work with her. If they really, really work with her, I think she'd be a great fullback for you guys going forward.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, listen, if you've got to jump, don't worry. We can carry on talking, because I mean, there's not really much unless anyone VBR. I mean, I suppose with United now is Wendy touched on what I wanted to talk. So if you wanted to go, I don't mind, because
I can go and come back. Let me just deal with this.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just go and come back.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Right, Wendy, you're right. It has come through. Jade should improve her crossing. We need Blundell to drive. Hasn't Jade been first shot? Yeah, she has. So, yeah, and she's played in the World Cup and she's played in the Olympics. So, for me, Jade is ready to play week in, week out. But like what was just said, like what Coach just said, she needs that time. And do we have that time? I don't know. Do we have the time to wait and develop her? I don't know. Is it Barca? I don't know if it's Barca. I don't know who it is. But my opinion now on Mary, of course I wanted to stay. I think I don't know what they're going to do, but I think what we need to do is realise where we're at with it, right? She's got 1 year left. I'm not here to play games in a way I'm not saying that she's playing games the way that happened last time. I think if she wants to leave, let her leave. Because I think if we can get 150, I don't know how much they've bid. Apparently someone was saying it's for only 50k, but no, increase that 100 odd k. You can get that. I think it's a bit too late now, but I think in January, yeah, why not? Like, for me, on this channel, we was pushing and we were saying, go and get that Leicester keeper. I can't even remember her name. Go get her, And I don't know why we didn't get her. I don't know why we didn't go all out for these kind of players. Because for me, they're the ones that we're ready for. Rambo, I don't know why we didn't make it that she stayed for me, because I think she's ready now, Rambo. And I don't know why we could have kept Rambo and sold Mary, And I think a lot of people are hooked up on Lionesses. And yeah, they're doing great, blah, 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 inspire the nation. Great, great, great. But I'm not come for that. I've come for Man United. And, if she wants to leave, let her leave. But I think, yeah, don't sell her now. Sell her in January. Go and get that replacement. We've got no time to worry about that. For me, I think, I don't know what United are doing. This is what my only worry now with United is about, my only worry about United now is what they're doing with these forwards, what they're doing with the Pinto. This is it. We could have so many more signings. Listen, I think we are taking too long. And I think that if we had done what we needed to do earlier on in the window, we would have, if we had bid right early in the window. Sorry, I'm just talking about what Mary, and do you think she should go? If we had bid right early in the window for Jace and bid right early in the window for Kerolin and had these players in, then I would be like, not let Mary leave, but we've got other positions that we need to fill before we can even start thinking about Mary, in my opinion. Lanzell, welcome, brother. He's saying Thomas and Leon need to go. And listen, I've heard that those two players might want to leave. And I know he's saying cleared out. Maybe that's not a bad word, but I think, this is the worry, man. We have 3 weeks left. We've got one player in, really. If we look at, I know they took in all this, Emma Watson. Yeah. But do I not think we have too many players? No, I don't, I think we need another striker, and I know that 2 strikers was key. And I know that now Honor's gone, I'd get another fullback. Yeah, maybe we don't need this Pinto, I don't know, but obviously I think that's maybe an easy one they could get. Vicky's saying we need Mary experience for the first season. So you've come in, just as I was saying, but what I was saying before is we've been in this situation with Mary where player 1 year left, if they want to leave, Stuart saying new Mary contract. And yeah, I'd take a new Mary contract. I think she's a great player. I think, she's cemented herself, the way she's led England. I think the way she's cemented herself. I think it's great. But I was saying, we should have known this, we should have known that. And I think it's this planning that we're talking about. There's no structure. They don't seem to know it. They only seem to be working window to window rather than planning it. They are planning in advance, but they're not moving fast enough to suppose make those plans. And I think United, they need to see if she's going to accept. I know someone said there's no point now, 3 weeks left. And I think, but I think in January, if she's saying, no, I want to go, keep her until January and have a keep. I would have had that Leipzig already wrapped up. We had Emily Ramsey here. Don't know why we didn't make a bigger play for her to stay, because I think she's ready made now to go in place of Mary. But I mean, what do you think, I suppose, of Mary? I think they'll turn it down. I don't think, people are saying it's like 50K. For me, that's not even...
No, don't even consider
worth getting out of bed for, really.
No, don't even consider that.
We're talking about $500,000 for Kerolin, yeah.
Yeah, no, don't even consider that for Mary Earps. I would say that hopefully you guys aren't doing what you did with Russo, which is basically there was a bid that came in, you said no, but you never renewed a contract kind of thing. Or I don't know what Mary Earps is thinking. I don't know if she wants to leave at the end of next season. If that's the case, if United are aware that she wants to leave and she won't sign a new contract, then take the bid, but not at 50K. Have it go higher. Yeah. But if she hasn't indicated that she wants to leave, then give her a new contract. It's as straightforward as that.
Yeah, I think they will be. I think, whether they've done it now or this, I don't know. But they should be doing it, or they will have done it. Oh, my friend, she just met Carolyn and... Not Carolyn. She met... Oh, I don't want to put her face, but she met Jace and Ivana. Ivana's my favourite. I'm excited for it. Listen... People are saying 300K from it. Listen, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, you should put what do they call it there? Like Premier League tax, except it'll be
like WSL
Lioness
tax. Yeah, Lioness tax.
Yeah, Lioness tax. There we go. They should put Lioness tax on it.
Of course we should. I don't think we're ready. I don't think we should do it now, because I think there's priority positions, and we're talking. We've just been talking about forwards that we want. We know that we want 2 forwards, and then I think a fullback. So I don't know. I don't think it's a WSL club. I think it's someone from abroad. People are saying Barca, PSG,
Barca? Really?
I don't know.
I don't see that.
People are saying Barca, Paris, and I don't know who else. But look, I'll suspect PSG. PSG probably, yeah.
PSG, I can see. Barca, no. I don't see that.
Yeah.
Not with the World Cup that Catacol just had. No ways. No, I don't see Barca. PSG I can see, but not so much Barca. And then only if Mary Earps has said that she wants to leave, right? Like if she's indicated that she won't sign a new contract, then yeah, absolutely. Take in a bid, like a proper bid, not 50K, but a proper bid. If she hasn't indicated that she wants to leave, then there's no point in even entertaining any bids.
Yeah, I think Mary loves it here. I think she loves other girls. I just think it's how we're moving, how we're operating. I mean, I think all the stuff that's happened recently, I suppose, with our men's side, and we know what happened with the number 11 for Man United. I mean, they've done the right thing now, but I think all this kind of background noise with Man United is what the problem is, always. I don't think the problem is the team or the fans or the stadium or, stuff like that. I don't even think the problem could be money, but I just think the problem is just... the Glazers, really, and how they operate and how the whole club operates from the top. Not like, the people around are probably every day, but I just think that
at the top,
people don't... Well, we know that they don't care about the women's game. I mean, you can probably see that very limited clubs do, but, it's just United. You expect better. I don't know. That's what I do anyway. So,
yeah.
It's I mean, thank you for coming back on. Listen, guys, it was really good. I know it's your second time on United channel, so I really appreciate you coming on and just sharing your views about who might come and who won't come, and I suppose as well just talking it out and talking a bit about the World Cup. Listen, if anyone wants to find you, I know you've got I've put your app running down, but if they want to read your things, where should they go? Or, just give a little shout out to yourself.
Yeah, so obviously, as Natalie said right at the beginning, I do work for The Athletic. So if you want to find my most recent work, it'll be up there because I was there for the World Cup and covering the World Cup for them. I also have work up on SB Nation. The site in particular is All for XI, so All for XI, like the Roman numeral 11. Yeah. So yeah, you'll find my work probably on those two places, and like I said, more recently on The Athletic.
No worries. Thanks guys for tuning in. There's been regularly like 50 people in the stream. Drop a like. If you watch later, drop comments in and I'll check them out. If there's anything ever that you want me to talk about, do let me know. People are saying buy-in, but I think we've covered a lot of topics from Kerolin to Earps to World Cup to women getting treated right, and that's all this channel's about. Just I suppose fans talking. So I appreciate everyone watching, and take care, guys. Yeah,
I think people should subscribe because getting a Liverpool person to come on twice is some feat.
See, that's how good it is. That's how good this show is because it's just
some feat.
Yeah, you feel comfortable. Yeah, make you turn you into one of us.
No, that's not happening. That's not happening.
No. Well, cheers. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.